Hey everyone, the identity of the clone assassin in episode 8 of The Bad Batch is a mystery that many have theorized about. The most common is that this assassin was the clone trooper named Slick, who appeared in the Clone Wars episode titled Hidden Enemy. Could this theory be true, or are we wrong in guessing that this is Slick? I'll examine a few different angles of the theory and tell you what I think, but I also want to hear what you think in the comments below. Is this mysterious clone assassin the traitor Slick? Clone Sergeant Slick served in the Grand Army of the Republic during the Clone Wars. If you watched the Clone Wars, then you might remember him as the clone who was secretly passing information to Asajj Ventress during the Battle of Christophsis. He betrayed the Republic because he believed the Jedi were incompetent and using the clones as tools to fight their war. Ultimately, Slick was arrested on Commander Cody's orders. In an outburst though, he berated the Jedi for what he thought was poor treatment of his brothers. Slick's motives were covered up by the Republic so that his ideas would not spread to other troopers. This whole ordeal with Slick made the Jedi realize though that the clones were not completely obedient. In the Bad Batch episode titled Clone Conspiracy, we see a mystery assassin who is later revealed to be a clone, but not a trooper as the markings were removed from him. I did a video yesterday explaining a theory I have regarding these clone assassins and a potential link to dark troopers, but for today's video, I want to focus on the identity of this particular clone. So many are saying that because this clone recognized Rex, that it must be somebody that Rex knows, Slick being the one that comes to mind. Pair that with knowing that Slick betrayed the Republic and it's case closed, right? He recognizes Rex, he betrayed the Republic, it must be Slick. But I'm not so sure just based on that. I'm gonna need a little bit more convincing. Honestly, it's primarily because I don't think it's out of the question to think that there are plenty of clones who know Rex, but maybe Rex doesn't necessarily know them. Plus, don't you think Rex would have recognized Slick? So I think to make the conclusion that it is Slick as this clone, we're gonna need to understand his motives for betraying the Republic and now how the Empire's motives line up with that. I mentioned earlier in the video that Slick's main motive for betraying the Empire was that he believed the Jedi were just using the clones as tools for their war. Which, side note, other than Pong Krell, which happens after his betrayal, I'm not sure how he could have thought this. The Jedi were some of the biggest champions for humanizing the clones. Often it was the Jedi who would give clones nicknames rather than their numbers. Obi-Wan Kenobi, Anakin Skywalker, Yoda, Plo Koon, and even Mace Windu are all examples of Jedi who very clearly valued their troops as people. In fact, I think each of those characters has some sort of Clone Wars arc where they are taking care and really like humanizing their troops. So I'm not sure how Slick got to that conclusion. But in spite of that, Slick still believed that the Jedi were incompetent. So Slick had it out for the Jedi before Order 66 even happened. So he would have certainly been willing to play an elite role within the Empire that overthrew the Jedi. I imagine that those in the Empire who were aware of Slick's beliefs during the war would see his value and maybe perhaps gave him an opportunity to be an elite soldier who carries out tasks that guard the secrets of the Empire. This would make the path from where we last saw Slick in the Clone Wars to now as potentially being this clone assassin pretty easy to understand. However, I said in my last video that I think this clone assassin was brainwashed, and that the Empire is somehow brainwashing AWOL clones or clones who have maybe questioned the Empire. I even went as far as to ask if this is the beginning of the Dark Trooper program, but that's not what I'm focused on in this video. I bring this up because I actually don't think that Slick would need to be brainwashed in order to serve the Empire as a believer with unquestioned loyalty. I think he was a believer in the Empire before Order 66 even came about. So this alone makes me conclude that if this clone assassin is brainwashed, then it's probably not Slick. In fact, I don't imagine we'll see Slick again. To be honest, I think that he served his purpose during the Clone Wars from a story perspective. He made the Jedi realize that the clones' abilities to think freely meant they were capable of betraying them. And that's kind of the purpose of Slick's story. So maybe we'll see him, maybe not, and maybe he's one of these clone assassins, or maybe we just won't know what his fate is. So who do I think this clone was? Well, I don't. I think this clone was probably a nameless character that points to a bigger threat to the clone troopers. I think that they showed us recognizing Rex because I think what will happen is we'll start to see other clones, perhaps maybe like Cody, who have been brainwashed or have had something happen to them, maybe leveraging the inhibitor chips so that their loyalty to the Empire was unquestioned. But I guess we'll see this as the rest of the season of the Bad Batch plays out and maybe in the rest of the show. So like I mentioned, let me know in the comments below, who do you think this clone is? If you made it this far in the video, I'm hoping that that means you enjoyed it. So please leave a like. It helps YouTube recognize that people are engaging with this video. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing for more fan fictions, theories, and explanations and all that good stuff. Have a great rest of your day, and may the Force be with you.